This week on the podcast, Carrie and I are sharing our first thoughts on Disney Genie. What do we know so far, and how do we feel about it? Plus, I'm still on location in Walt Disney World. We had some complaints about the sound last week. Did we fix it? Did we get it right? Stay tuned.
You're listening to the Pixie Dust Fan Podcast. Hi, I'm Francine.
And I'm Carrie.
We're two best friends who can't stop talking, usually about Disney stuff.
Sometimes we have fascinating guests, and sometimes it's just us. But it's always positive and fun.
We're happy to have you join our chat. Thanks for listening, and let's get started.
Hi, Carrie.
Hello.
Hello. I feel like
Can you hear me? Can you hear me? Way far away?
Yeah, way far away, but you seem to have upped your game recently, Missy. So we had some feedback that last week's audio wasn't that great, and you took the blame for it because, well, normally you have the technical issues, but it wasn't. It wasn't you.
It was you?
It was me.
Because you're not in your home studio.
I'm not in my home studio, so I am using this pair of iPhone earbuds connected to my laptop. And I think my hair was rubbing against the mic.
So you weren't eating a candy bar last time.
I was not eating a candy bar. I was not. But you, on the other hand, seem to have upgraded your home studio.
The last time I saw you, you gave me this cool little microphone arm.
Yes.
So I hooked that up. So now it's like I feel like I am in a studio.
Yeah, because, we did have someone say there was one of the questions you answered, and they're like, I couldn't hear what Carrie said, and now look at you with the mic and the earphones. And
I got some spiffy earphones this week, too, yeah.
Yeah, look at you.
For free for my, for free with my credit card points.
You love point cards, like using the point cards, like you do the whole rewards thing, and then you splurge on something fun. It's almost like you wait to do something frivolous with them.
Yes, these earphones weren't frivolous, but yes, I do. I saved them up. You never know. I might be able to use them for traveling one day. So I don't want to spend them all. Like over the last little while, I was buying kitchen mini appliances with them. Yeah, because
didn't you buy some kind? Was it an air fryer or?
I don't remember. I bought blenders. I bought like a Cuisinart. I bought all kinds of stuff.
Yeah,
I think a griddle and a grill. Sunglasses. But I thought I better save them just in case. Maybe I can redeem them for some travel rewards.
Exactly.
But these weren't too many points, but I thought I needed some spiffy earphones.
Well, you've definitely upped the game. And this weekend I'm trying to sit still and hold.
This is the best.
It's because usually I talk with my hands and also, so yeah, I'm trying to sit still, but we'll see how that goes. We'll see how long it lasts for. Yeah.
So what's shaking with you down in Florida? What's happened since the last time we talked on the podcast? Not the last time we talked, because I talked to you already today.
Oh, yeah, you did. Right. It feels like, like I'm losing track of time, Carrie.
Our chatting has been kind of off schedule, too. Like, we had to have a pre-work chat this morning.
Yeah, like it was...
Because you've been too busy. You're going to having drinks after work.
Yeah,
coming home too late. I'm checking and I'm starting to worry. I'm like, oh, my goodness. Did she take an Uber? Did she make it back?
Usually you can check my Instagram stories and you'll see where I am.
Yeah.
Anyways. So it's been a bit crazy and I'm losing track of days, and my reservations at Coronado Springs were like split. So there was like check out, check in, and honestly it was like last minute when I realized that I had to do that. So because I am losing track of the days, which is weird, even though I'm working. Do you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. I don't know that makes sense, but
so
yes.
So before you started working, you still had a couple more days at the parks before
I did.
You buckled down back to the grind.
Back to the grind. Yes, I had a couple more days at the parks. I've been to all four parks at least once each. well, really, I've been to Animal Kingdom once. I've been to all the others multiple times. But I've been to all the parks, and honestly, it's been fantastic. Carrie, I can't tell you how many pictures I have and little videos, and I've really enjoyed the resorts, and I even took time out to go kind of explore Disney's Art of Animation, which normally I wouldn't do, but because I'm here by myself, I can totally do whatever I want when I want. So I jumped on the Skyliner because I didn't want to walk all the way back to the bus stops at Hollywood Studios. And I jumped on the Skyliner and went to Art of Animation. And it was great. And I wandered around. I took some great pictures. I talked to some nice cast members. Yeah, it was really good.
And you went on a new attraction.
Oh my goodness, Carrie. Like, it's... I think, you know what? Mickey and Minnie's Runaway Railway is it better than Rise of the Resistance for me? Maybe. Maybe. And I think because, I don't like the whole long, drawn-out pre-shows and stuff like that. They bug me. So after a couple of times on Rise of the Resistance, all that pre-show stuff bugs me. It's kind of like Flight of Passage, right? Like, that pre-show stuff bugs me. But on Mickey and Minnie's Runaway Railway, it seems much shorter. The pre-show stuff. So it's cheerful. And it's fun. And I loved it. I can't wait for you to experience it. I took pictures, I took video, but all in short spurts. I won't be anybody's spoiler. So you obviously then approve of what they did with the Great Movie Ride?
Yes, the Great Movie Ride's gone.
Yeah, 100%.
History.
You know what? I was never a big fan of the Great Movie Ride. I loved it in the beginning, but after you've been on it 15 times, it was a long ride. I don't like long attractions. I just don't. I don't like to be confined that long. So the Great Movie Ride was always a long one, and the reason that I always kept going on it was to see that stupid hieroglyphic thing in the Indiana Jones scene of Mickey and Donald that was on the wall. And I'd do that whole 22-minute ride to see that one thing. And it was like the very last time I was on it, I finally saw it. Even though I had Googled where it was. It was like impossible to find.
So how long is Mickey and Minnie's Runaway Railroad?
It's really not that long. Like, it moves faster. It just moves faster. It's not like a 22-minute ride or anything. And it's cheerful. And it's fun.
It looks amazing, like how bright and animated it is.
But you know what? And I'm not even bothered by the fact that they're the weird-looking caricatures of Mickey and Minnie. You know, like the new version of them.
Yeah, I really like the new version. At first, I wasn't quite sure, but I really do like them. Because when you watch the cartoons, they're so funny. Yeah,
like it's growing on me. They were so, and the song...
It's just weird and different.
Yeah, I was kind of like bopping around. It's just, you know what, it's so fantastic. And we went right after the rain one night. I guess it was about 6:30. And we waited maybe like 15 minutes. Like it was like 25 minutes from the time we got in line till we got off the attraction. And then we wandered around a little bit. Then we went back and we did it again. We waited like maybe 10 minutes. And then when we got off, they were like, third time, our friends, they're like, do you want to go again? I'm like, okay, one more time. So we did.
And you've been finding, like, when you go to the parks in the evenings, it's not so busy ride-wise. Like, it might be busier, but the rides are easy to get on.
Yeah, the attraction times seem to be a lot more decent now, and especially since the kids went back to school. Like, the kids in Florida went back to school the second week of August, so it's definitely made a big difference in the crowds.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah, so it's been fantastic. Like, I've definitely made the most of the attractions. The other night I went to Epcot. I walked on Spaceship Earth. I walked on Nemo. I practically walked on Soarin', which was crazy. But of course, World Showcase, because it's food and wine, was like packed to the gills. But yeah. Yeah. So that's been fantastic.
And then the party had to stop because you had to go back to work. But not really, because you've been gallivanting in the evenings.
I've been gallivanting in the evenings, but I've been working the unmagical job during the day.
So what is that like? Like you sit in a room all day long, but it's at Disney. Like,
yeah, it's different. It's just, you know what? It's just different scenery. So different four walls, but I'm still completely paying attention, productive, the same as I am at home. I think the big difference is that obviously the desk is not like set up for you. The chair is unbelievably uncomfortable. Like, it's not set for full days of work. That's for sure.
And Disney's just outside your door.
Yeah. Yeah. Like, honestly, like in Coronado Springs, when I'm in the Grand Destino Tower, outside of my window is Galaxy. Like, I can see Galaxy's Edge.
That's pretty rad.
And I have a parking lot view. So can you imagine if I had maybe I wouldn't be productive if I had a different view. But yeah, so it's just having that. And, there was one day where I ran out of milk because I brought my own kettle, right? So I can make tea all day, every day. Because, I drink so much tea during the day when I work. And I ran out of milk. So I just took a break and walked over to the store and it was just, what a feeling to take a break and walk to a Disney gift shop. Like, just, yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah. I can't even describe how happy I am doing it and how much my brain is churning going, how do you do this more often? And my bank account is screaming, you can't.
Have your colleagues noticed you're a little bit cheerier this week? Has there been any comments about your disposition?
Oh my gosh. So I think it was like day one, I was on a video chat and I went to scratch my head and one of the guys on the call goes, Fran, is that a magic band on your wrist?
Oh, man.
Yeah. So that pretty much everybody has figured out that I'm here, or I've told them, or what. You know what? Like one night, I had to say to my boss at 6:00, the call was still going on, and I finally said to her, "No offense, but could we wrap this up because there's a drink at Epcot calling my name." And she was like, "Oh my gosh, I forgot you were still there. Okay, go have fun." So yeah. Yeah,
that's very cool.
It is. And I just, I need to figure out a way for my bank account to allow for this more often. But right now, let me tell you, my credit cards and my bank account are like, what are you doing?
What do you mean you're staying there for one more week?
Yeah, exactly. But
hey,
YOLO.
That's right. Why not?
I'll worry about it later.
It was a long overdue homecoming, so you had to do it right.
Absolutely. So I'm really happy to just be here. Even though it's harder, it definitely is harder because I'm doing it on a laptop, and at home I have like a massive computer screen, all that stuff for editing, and it's very different to do it on a laptop here on an external hard drive and stuff. So, but whatever, like seriously, whatever.
You'll figure it out.
I'll do whatever. Yeah, but there was like a whole bunch of exciting news from Disney this week. I feel like they're kind of hammering us with announcements, and I'm struggling to keep up. Mm-hmm. Because I'm not online as much as I was, like, obviously when I'm at home, right? All the announcements. There's a new steakhouse coming to the Contemporary. Did you see that one?
No.
Steakhouse 71?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
No. Yes. Carry on. What's the next one? No. Yes.
And they're updating the California Grill?
No. I didn't hear about that. What are they doing throwbacks to it?
Well, I don't know. They kind of alluded to the fact that it was going to be reminiscent of, I guess, the old. And I think I saw somewhere that they're talking about like a throwback to like the top top of the world when it used to be. Which explains why we can't get a reservation there for my birthday in October. So, yeah. Now we're like, my sister's bugging me about, where do you want to eat for your birthday? I said, okay, fine, California Grill, but we can't get a reservation. So then she's like, well, what after that? I'm like, well, I don't know.
You should say the Olive Garden.
She would seriously faint. First of all, the Olive Garden and off property.
I really like those mints.
Yeah. So, yeah, she wasn't happy when I said the Contempo Cafe. So, I don't know. We'll figure it out. But, yeah, so there's 2 new updates coming there. Obviously, for the 50th, they're taking care of the Contemporary. But right now, it's, so under renovation. And the Polynesian's still under renovation. I was there the other day, and yeah, it's really being renovated out front. And then, of course, there's the Genie.
The Genie.
I think we need to talk about the Genie. I think we need to talk about the Genie of what we know so far and how we're feeling about it. And what we hope and what we're hearing. And now you and I have actually not even really talked about it, which is good, so that we could talk about it on the podcast together.
I don't know if I've really figured out all my feelings completely about it, but for sure.
Well, and I think, so I had to make a post the other day because I was getting a lot of people reaching out saying, how do you feel about this? What do you think? What does it mean? And I had to post and just say, I'm still reserving judgment. I have seen so many sites and so many of the negative Nellies online, with their clickbait headlines about Disney is gouging you for money and blah, blah, blah. They've picked up this one little piece of this Genie that is going to cost you, and that's the piece they're focused on. And I feel like it's more than that. So I was like, I want to reserve my judgment yet until I know more.
Right.
So should we talk about what it is exactly?
Sure.
What we know right now.
Right.
Do you want to say, or do you want me to say?
Yes. No. Go for it. So it's an app, or part of my Disney experience.
Right. Yeah.
That's going to help travelers get through their day. So not so much advanced planning, no more FastPasses. They're being retired. The Genie is to help them on the spot kind of maneuver their day. They're going to say, from what I understand, they're going to pick the things that are top to do on their list, and the Genie's going to help them through wait times and maybe suggest where to go first based on what they've said they wanted to see. And it's supposed to update throughout the day so that in their hand, they have access to this assistant that's going to direct them all the right ways so that they get the most out of their day.
Right.
That's kind of the bare bones of the basics of the Genies before the Genie, before you get into the other parts of the Genie. The free Genie is your
the included Genie.
The included Genie. The complimentary Genie is I think is that.
Yeah, I agree. I think that's a good synopsis, and I think it's going to give you tips based on where you are, based on what you've said. If you say you're a thrill ride person or you absolutely love the Country Bears, it's going to tell you which one to go to first.
Yeah. And they say it's got a tip board, so maybe it'll be giving you other tips and tricks too.
Yeah. But it also, what I loved is the fact that it said it had forecasted wait times. Mm-hmm. So you have to think about that. For years, there have been these other sites who have been doing they were running algorithms and scraping sites to pull the wait times in, and people were paying for those calendars. So for everybody, so think of all of those people that were paying those other sites for a calendar that told them when's the best time to go. What are the wait times like in July? What's the wait time for Space Mountain on a Thursday afternoon so that I can plan my day accordingly? Now Disney's doing that for you with their own intelligence, right?
Yep.
So now you don't have to pay for that calendar, and they are going to be forecasting their own stuff with all the actual tools they have.
Yeah. That part sounds pretty cool. And as you know, not the type of fan I am, like I like the idea of not having to pre-plan.
Me too.
Yeah, for sure. Because we could easily go to the park and just go with the flow. So if anything, this might enhance the experience for someone like us.
Right.
Who kind of goes and maybe picks a couple fast passes, maybe they don't, but just kind of sees what comes about the day. So if we were to use the app, we might get more done.
I know. Well, and that's what I was thinking about. Like, I thought, if you're standing over by Pirates and it tells you that right now is a traditionally low wait time and that it's only going to get busier in the afternoon for the Jungle Cruise, well, you may as well walk over and do it now.
Yeah.
Like, so you said something really key, though. You said for people like us who just kind of go with the flow and don't really plan. Mm-hmm. But I think that's the part that everybody's missing is you don't have to listen to the Genie.
Yeah.
If you want to plan your day, plan your day. You can plan that you go into the park and you start at Jungle Cruise and then you go to Pirates and then you go to Thunder Mountain, and you can totally plan that all out.
Right. And really, like, when you say it that way, like, we probably don't need, we probably know what the Genie's going to tell us without having to look at the Genie going all the time, and how much we deal with the parks and itinerary planning and all that stuff. But you're right. Yeah. You use it or you don't use it. And I think everyone's gotten so crazy about the pre-planning, like crazy about it.
Yeah.
That, maybe after a while that part will be forgotten about, and maybe it'll be more of a relief. Like maybe you're going to go back to like just reading about going to Walt Disney World, or reading a travel book, or finding book, whatever. I know people don't read books anymore, whatever, like researching on apps and whatever, and just in having the knowledge you need of what's there, what's to do, what your master to-do list should be. What are your top things at all the parks, so that you kind of have your checklist in your app and in the Genie or whatever. And you spend your pre-trip time, doing that. I'm sure, you're figuring out where you're going to eat and all that stuff, but like not so much worried about, the 6 months in advance and the 60 days in advance, worrying about your fast passes. And
well, you were only booking 3 fast passes anyway. Like really, in the grand scheme of things, you were booking 3 fast passes. So you were only planning 3 attractions. Right,
but that required a lot of strategy and
you did. But at the end, like when you arrived for your vacation, you only had 3 things planned. And maybe a meal, right?
Yeah.
Per day. And then if it rained or the attraction went down, your plans were out the window anyway.
Right, but I think too, like as someone that goes to Disney, that's planning this trip, and say, for instance, and they have your travel agent helping you with all that stuff, like they feel so overwhelmed with all the information that, going there and having those first 3 fast passes in the morning and your lunch, figured out, like it takes a big weight off their shoulders, right? So it's sort of like guaranteeing, like sure, it can rain and your plans can change or whatever, but generally, the fast pass plans probably did work. And it was just kind of a weight off their shoulders. Like they just...
Yeah. So now they're kind of saying, okay, you're going to show up at the park and this Genie's going to present at that moment what your day should look like, instead of you knowing it in advance. Like you won't know until that day when you show up there and you open the app, and then it's going to say, oh, you should go to Space Mountain now.
Right. And unless, and even if you purchase the Genie Plus, you wouldn't be able to make any
reservations,
reservations till 7:00 in the morning.
Right. So we should, if you're staying on property, so we should talk about that. So that's the free one. We've covered the Genie, the free Genie.
And there's probably a few other things in the free Genie, but whatever.
But that's the crux of it, right? And it
thing.
shows you where the mobile order is. You can manage your dining. Like that stuff is all there.
Yeah.
And your photo pass, and they're going to have some great new features for photos and things like that. That's all fabulous and free. Not your photo pass. Now, now you can enhance that.
Yeah.
And you can, it's like it's like Max Pass.
Yeah,
basically.
the Genie Plus.
Right. So the Genie Plus is the one where you pay to get FastPass. What do they call it now? What's the new line?
Lightning Lane.
Lightning Lane. Why did they make things that are like Mickey and Minnie's Runaway Railway, Lightning Lane? Like both don't really roll off the tongue. Okay, sorry, go on.
Yeah, well, and I don't know if the Lightning, like, I'm a little confused. Is the Lightning Lane the ones that they purchased in addition? Like, the Genie Plus allows them to pick, the Genie Plus allows them to do like the Max Pass did. So you, as of 7 o'clock in the morning, if you have the Plus, you can log on and pick your first attraction. And then when you've used that pass, you can pick another one. When you've used that, you can pick another one. So just like
Correct.
at Disneyland.
You can only have one active Lightning Lane, aka FastPass, at a time.
Right. That's why I wasn't confused. Like, is that called Lightning Lane too? And then
I think it is, because I think the other one where you pay in advance, I think they're both Lightning Lanes or FastPass lanes. They basically allow you to skip the standby. Mm-hmm. But the Lightning Lane for the basic Plus one that you pay for versus the super duper one that you can pay for the two attractions, I think are both the same lanes, but they don't exist on the same rides.
Gotcha.
I think they don't exist on the same rides.
Yeah, that's the only thing. Yeah, I don't know. But anyways.
Okay, so you show up. So if you're staying on Disney property, 7 a.m., you can go in and book your first Lightning Lane, skip the standby queue.
Yes.
If you are at Disneyland or you're staying off property, you can only book your first one when you enter the park.
Correct.
Got it. At Disneyland, it's $20 a day per person per ticket per day.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
At Walt Disney World, it's $15.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And you can do like length of ticket, like if you buy a 7-day ticket, or you can buy it every day. Like if you say I only want it on Monday and Thursday, you can just buy those 2 days.
Right. So that's the thing. You would log into the app on the days you want to purchase it and purchase it for that day.
Right. Mm-hmm. Which is so much like Max Pass in Disneyland. Mm-hmm. And we loved that.
Yeah, I like the Max Pass at Disneyland for sure.
Because we only did it on certain days. Like there were days where we were like, okay, today's going to be all about attractions, so let's do it today. And we would buy them for that day.
Mm-hmm. I was just looking at my notes here to see if I missed anything one at a time, like Max Pass. Yeah, well, it is first. The Lightning. It is called the Lightning Lane in both. I was getting sort of confused. So, but the one thing about this, though, like before we move on to talking about the individual attraction purchase, whatever the heck however they call it, like they said, like what you had said, this can be added to a package. So I could see for a lot of people that plan that one trip a year to Disney or two trips, like the big family trips, like to have the ability to use these features and to add it onto your package when you've booked it a year in advance or your 9 months or however far in advance you book it and roll it in, bundle it in with the price of your tickets. Mm-hmm. And really, I don't even know if because I'm sure when you go to select, it'll be like one park per day, park hopper, Genie Plus. Like, I'm sure it'll all be just something you click and there'll be a price beside it, right? Yeah. So I don't know. Like, I think, it might not be, I think people will just do it. Like, if they can afford it, like if they can roll it all into their package, and they save up for this trip every year, like they might just... They might just be adding it. Like, yeah. Like I can see it easier to swallow that way versus, always like being there and thinking like, okay, well, at the park and be like, oh, should we do this today? And deciding which days to do it, which days not to do it, versus if you have a 5-day ticket and knowing that when you added it to your package, it's all done and said and prepaid for before you, like when you've made your final payment.
Well, because you think about it, a family of 5, and so every day they're deciding, do we want to spend an extra $75 so that we can skip the standby line?
Right.
Like, whereas if they had bundled it all into a package, maybe it would be different. But here's the thing. I think it's going to be like Disneyland, where the standby lines are better because of this. Like right now in Walt Disney World, the standby lines are fantastic. Not that they're not long. They're always long. But remember, you would get in a FastPass line and you would sit, or you weren't in the FastPass, you were in the standby, and you would watch FastPass after all these people going and going and going, and you'd be thinking, like, no wonder this standby line is so long. No wonder it's an hour and a half wait for Buzz Lightyear, because the FastPass is just going in. And I remember hearing somewhere that it was something like an 80-20, where FastPass was going in and standby. So the standby was horrible. It never moved. Now, when there's no FastPass, the standby actually moves. Like they load the attractions full capacity from the standby line.
Yeah.
It actually moves.
Well,
I think
for now. Well, I think too, though, with the Disneyland thing is that, like, it seemed like I was there the very first day, when Max Pass first started. Max Pass first started.
Everything is a tongue twister with them, right?
I was there, and I remember, like, nobody was really using it, and my Max Pass was on my annual. Like, I had the deluxe annual pass, so it came with it, right? So, like, I could just do it.
You had everything,
and nobody seemed to be taking advantage of it. And at Disneyland, like, when there's lots of locals and annual pass holders that are there, like, for them to pay $20 a day is different than someone bundling it on their Walt Disney World package for their one trip a year, where they it's their trip they look forward to, versus going to the parks all the time.
Right.
So, like, nobody was using it, and that's why I think, like you said, I think the Max Pass was awesome at Disneyland, because if you actually had it, it was sweet. Like, you could just be like, yep, there's a Max Pass for this, there's a Max Pass for that. There's, like, you could always get whatever you needed, because it didn't seem like people used it. Maybe and the standby lines were, like, for the popular things were still long, because everyone was like, yeah, I'm not paying for a Max Pass. And they would just go stand in the standby lines.
So it could end up being better for people that don't pay. Like, there's always going to be the people that will pay. And, there's the people that pay for VIP tours to skip the lines and all sorts of those kind of things. But for these, I don't know. I think the way that they're going to dole them out is going to help control. Disney, at the end of the day, Disney's a corporation. They want more money. Of course they do. They owe it to their shareholders. That's how companies operate. But they also know that guest experience contributes to more money. They know that. So they're not going to load up all these things to make it a horrible experience for everyone. They're going to use all this technology to make sure they're directing the traffic, to maybe even spread it out so it's not as horrible as it's been. Those fast passes, some of those lines, they were horrible.
True. Well, like if all of their analytics and all of their, their technology and processes work, like, I'm sure that is... There's
going to be some bugs in the beginning. Make no mistake.
I'm sure that's what they're planning to do with it, because, like, happy guests, then the next time they go, they're not going to bat an eye twice about paying $15 per day added onto their ticket for their package. If it made such a, better experience, or was, whatever, right?
But even for the family that doesn't buy, that looks on their app and says, hey, like, Thunder Mountain's got a really low wait time right now. Why don't we head over there? And it maps it all out for them so that their lunch is over there. Like, it's making recommendations.
Well, that would be amazing, that the people that don't pay and just use the Genie, have a fantastic time, and the people that do pay find the value in it and have a super duper time too.
I think that's the goal.
Like, I don't think we're surprised that Disney is doing this and charging
not at
money,
all.
like, because that's what all the other theme parks do, right?
Of course, we've been paying it at Universal for how many years?
Mm-hmm. So, like, I guess it is expected. It's just that's a huge change. Like, there's a lot of things that have been suspended or on hold during this time, and the angst and anxiety of waiting to know if it comes back, and all the people that have booked their trips and rebooked them, waiting for whenever the heck they're going to finally get to go back on their 2020 trip that was bumped to 2021, which is bumped to 2022. Like, there's a lot of anxiety and angst over, imagine that person who goes all the time, loves it, and hasn't been since 2019, and then you find out there's no more fast passes. the system you thought was seamless and brought so much, ease to your day, that it's not coming back.
I know. It's full of anxiety, and there's a lot of outcry online. I think I knew that they were going to end up charging. We all knew it. I'm just happy they didn't do what they do at the other parks. I'm happy that it's not you pay this premium and you get front of the line all day, multiple times. Like, the very fact that they're only allowing you to pay to have one at a time means that they're respecting the fact that the other people may not be paying. Whereas when you go to that other park, that shadowy place we don't talk about, when you pay for that front of the line, I could get on and off that Hulk roller coaster 15 times while you're still standing in the standby line. Right. Because I paid and you didn't. And that always bugged me. Oh, and I guess by saying what it was, what the shadowy place I'm talking about. But you know what I mean. But yeah, so I'm kind of glad that they're at least being respectful that not everybody's going to pay.
Well, and I think maybe the parks are the way they're built and how big they are and how many people are there. Like, they probably can't do it.
No,
like,
probably
maybe
not.
Like, maybe doing 3 fast passes a day and having the early booking windows and all that stuff was really in the end not like wasn't working, right? So,
but now I think like
there's a lot more people that are in the parks now than when fast passes were first. When you could start picking 3 fast passes a day, the crowds at the parks are way bigger than what they were back then. Like, not like the good old days slow, but they were still different. Yes. So maybe it's just too big for all those, too much going on for all those people.
Well, and I did hear someone today, and I'm not going to call them out but you and I have talked, we did share this video with each other. I think the one thing that I will agree with one of the negative Nellies on is that the attractions that they're building now aren't necessarily geared or thinking about how big the crowds really are, right? Like, they're not necessarily conducive to pushing thousands of people through them at a time. And I think that's the problem. I think the demand has gotten so big that Disney is doing what they can, but the ride itself should have been built to handle more people. So Rise of the Resistance is really the one I'm talking about. The whole virtual queue, it bugs me a little because you don't have the option to stand by. And it always bugged me that if you didn't get that virtual queue, you were SOL. So imagine you're flying from the UK to Florida, you're a huge Star Wars fan, and you want to ride Rise of the Resistance, and you can't get a virtual boarding pass because your internet isn't good or you're not tech savvy or whatever. At least now, with this, not that it's the right answer, but I think it's at least an option, you can buy it. You can buy a virtual pass if you can't get one.
Right.
And that's the plus. What is it? The Genie?
You better pull up the graphic.
Is it the Genie plus or? It's like some lightning lane plus thing, but it's like the next tier. So you can buy your $15 one at a time fast pass for certain attractions.
Yeah.
And then for the super duper popular ones, which really is only Rise of the Resistance right now, and I'm assuming Ratatouille is going to fall in there.
Right.
for those, you can actually buy 2 lightning lanes a day for 2 attractions. And that's it. You can't buy more than that. And I love that they've capped it. Right? So you don't get to go and say, I have loads of money, so I'm just going to buy one of everything.
Right.
If you want to do that, that's called a VIP tour, and they're $800 an hour.
Right. It says lightning. It's called Lightning Lane Select Experiences available. So individual attractions are available for purchase.
But they didn't say how much for those, right?
And no.
So we don't know, we know how much the $15 or $20 a day one for the one at a time FastPass, but for the select experiences, we don't know how much those are yet.
Yeah, that wasn't
disclosed.
Really confirmed. And that's I can't I don't know. I could see me for sure paying for the Disney Genie Plus, adding it on to a package, adding it on to my annual pass, if that's something I could add on to an annual pass. But yeah, I don't know about paying, say, $20 or $15 or whatever to go on one attraction. It'd have to be, I was trying to think of, what attraction could I dream up that would excite me enough.
Right.
You would have probably paid to go on, what's it called? Your favorite ride? Smuggler's Run?
Smuggler's Run. Hey, if I can walk ahead of the line, although I don't know if I'd want to miss the queue in Smuggler's Run. But, okay, so here's the thing. So my nephew and his wife and the kids don't get to come every year. And they're coming next year. Big Star Wars fans. 100% will pay one day for them to go on Rise of the Resistance, and not worry about the thing, whatever, because it's an event to do once. The kids won't get to do it again, but they'll get to do it once.
Right. So, but that's the thing. So with the Genie Plus, it could be that with the Genie Plus, Rise of the Resistance may not be one of the multiple attractions you get to use the Lightning Lane for. And it could be that, what if for Rise of the Resistance, your only option was to do a virtual queue?
Yes.
Yep. Or which could still be at 1 second after 7 a.m. they're gone.
Yep.
Or you pay the premium to get to be able to go on the attraction. Exactly. The Lightning Lane pay per experience.
But that's the thing, right? So with my nephew and his wife and the kids next year, I wouldn't want that. If the only option was the virtual queue, there's a very real possibility they wouldn't get to experience it and would have to wait 2 more years till their next trip to experience it. Whereas now there is an option that we can pay to make sure they get to do it. And then I think for people honestly, the locals, the annual pass holders like you and I, who are why don't we go on Smuggler's Run today or whatever? If some of these things are an option where people are paying and they're reducing the number of virtual queues, maybe we'll be less likely to take them. And I think there's a lot of people too, if you can only do one of them at a time for the other attractions, how many people booked fast passes and then didn't show up for them? And then that in turn, made sure that they couldn't get these or other people couldn't get them. So if you're paying for it, you're making sure you're showing up for that FastPass. And Disney can totally start redirecting and balancing out some of that traffic. I think about the artificial intelligence that they're putting in behind it. This is all that machine learning, artificial intelligence, how they're going to map all that stuff out. I think it's pretty cool if they can make it work. I will caveat that I am sure that the first 3 or 4 months are going to be disastrous.
3 or 4 months.
Well, think about it. Any kind of big IT release like these kind of things. Have you ever, in any capacity, in any company, known anything to go smoothly like that?
I guess.
I think not.
Maybe not. Maybe it depends.
Yeah. I mean, I'm hopeful.
It's like a really big project. But the thing is, we've been hearing about this Disney Genie for years. Like, I can't even pinpoint how many, like, so many that I've forgotten how, like, I can't, like, it's been years since we first heard about Disney Genie. You probably could Google it. But it's been years and years, like, not just 1 or 2 years. Like, we heard about Genie many years ago. So if it's really been in the works that long, maybe it won't be glitchy for that long.
Yeah, you're right. Like, it could be that they've worked out most of the bugs or they figured stuff out. But I think there's still a lot of unanswered questions. I think there's still stuff to be rolled out.
What I'm impressed with is that it's still called the Disney Genie. Unless back then what the Disney Genie was like totally opposite of what it actually is today. I was thinking about that. I'm like, it's still called the Disney Genie though. Like,
they stuck with the name all these years.
They stuck with the name. Maybe they're like, this is such a good name. We got to just keep it going. We got to keep it going.
But I think the key thing that came out of today, like all of the news that we've been hearing, is that you can still plan your vacation and plan it the way you want. You don't have to use the Genie. You don't have to have your phone in your hand. You don't have to do it, or you can do it part of the day, all of the day, none of the day. Like you could literally have your own plan, and then at 2:00 in the afternoon say, I wonder what it recommends, and then pull out your phone. Because I think there was a lot of people that were complaining about having their phone in their hand all day. Yeah. Right? And having to be tethered to that. Because there are a lot of people that aren't technically savvy.
Right. But I think that's, like, I think people were probably pretty tethered to it to start with you know, checking your PhotoPass pictures and your FastPasses and your dining and all that stuff. Yeah. I'm sure, you know, they're already on, like, on
checking the weather, taking their pictures.
Yeah, like, and no, but doing the Disney stuff, not even just checking the weather. Like, you think, you know, you check to see if your FastPass pictures have shown up. You have to go in and see, like, when your you've forgotten, like, when your next FastPass time is. Yeah. Or if you want to check to see if you can, you know, you've used your 3 and you want to pick your next one. Like, I would think a lot of people were, you know, or maybe, you know, the whoever in the family is in charge of that stuff, which I think in this situation too, right? Like, it would be the same, right? There'd be a Pied Piper in your group or your family that would most likely do a lot of the mobile phone work for your vacation. But like, imagine that this all works out and it works, and we actually can, like, go into the parks and just, like, let the day be what the day be, like, what it is. Like, just like imagine that it kind of brings you back to what a Walt Disney World theme park used to be.
I know. Doesn't that sound it's kind of exciting. It is.
I'm actually very excited because I kind of have that hope that that's what it might bring. Yeah. Like, if they've, figured out this data all these years that they've been doing this, and the technology has changed and they're finally able to do it. Like, can they really have us, you know, maneuver our ways around the park with this app, and it really, we don't have to pre-plan and it benefits us. Like, that part's a very, very, very exciting. The only part that I don't love is, like I said, like, I can't see myself paying whatever. Yeah. Maybe if it was $10 to go on a brand new ride for myself, I would, you know, you're paying your $10, I'm paying my $10 to go on something that I haven't been able to go on, maybe. But, you know, like, $20 times a family of 4 to go on a ride. I guess it depends on the situation. Like you said, your family coming from overseas, you know, but they should probably just add it on for their whole trip so they don't got to worry about it. Like, all their Genie Plus and whatever. Like, imagine you pay for your Genie Plus and then you're going to pay, like, extra to go on to that attraction for that one time.
And I'm wondering too, if this will eventually evolve, will it be part of a package? Like, well, you know how now you can get resort dining, 25% off, whatever. Like, will they maybe at some point say, okay, well, now we've got this new bundle that includes your, you know, a dining, a this, a that, plus your Disney Plus, your Genie Plus, and it's all at a discounted rate, or thing, like, I think there's different ways they can bundle these things together.
Mm-hmm. For sure.
So I think we know a lot, but we don't know enough yet. Yeah. So far, preliminarily, I'm in love with this new.
Love?
I'm in love with it.
With it.
I'm in love with
not
it
going that
because
far.
it's like Disney's it's like the Max Pass. Like the minute they called it like the Max Pass, I was like, yes, love that, because I felt like the lines. I felt like I got to do everything I wanted to do with the Max Pass, and I love the fact that it's limited. I love that.
Yeah.
They didn't just say, okay, if you're rich and you can pay $100 a person, you can do whatever you want as many times as you want. And then people who don't pay then are now penalized. They didn't do that. So I'm quite happy about that because I was a bit worried about that.
I'm optimistic and excited. I'm not gonna.
You're not in love yet.
I'm not saying love, that's for sure. But it is.
But you're excited.
I'm excited about it for sure. And
Right.
And I guess really like they've given us lots. Like it is. They've given us enough information that we kind of get the gist of what it is. Like unless there's more details or more minute details about how it actually operates, like with the pricing for the extra things or the timing of buying and picking and this and that. Like they outlined a lot of it, but yeah, it's just seeing has to roll out and see how it works.
Yeah, I think
I'm satisfied with the information we have, like to kind of understand the gist of it. But
I think so too.
But yeah.
And then the next step for us in our decision making of how we feel about it, if you're going to move from excitement to love, or I'm going to move from love to meh, it will be really when we get to try it. Mm-hmm. Like I think execution will be everything. So let's see. But it's exciting. If there's new news, if anything else comes out, we'll cover it on another episode of the podcast for sure. Cool.
Yeah.
Well, I think we covered it all, Carrie.
Well, I'm sure there was lots of other little bits of news, but that was the big...
That was the big one.
That was the big news. I wanted to ask you, did you lay your eyes on any of the 50th merch? Did we talk about that last time? Or has there been more merch out?
No more merch out. I think we talked about it the last time. Didn't we talk about how I saw the t-shirt? I've only bought one t-shirt so far. But I saw the t-shirt, but it's kind of thick material.
Well, maybe we did talk about it.
I think so. I really like the t-shirt, and I'm probably going to buy the t-shirt, but I need to do it when I'm in air conditioning for an extended period of time.
Did you see any other exciting merch then?
No,
maybe I just
really.
wasn't very impressed with your 50th merch review. I thought it would be more exciting. Apparently it wasn't memorable.
It really wasn't. There wasn't a whole ton of stuff, and I gotta tell you, merchandise is pretty scarce right now.
What?
Because I think they're gearing up for the 50th, right? So, Carrie, I'm telling you, I bought one T-shirt. Which, by the way, let me just gloat in this for a second. So I bought the size that I normally buy, and when I got back to my resort and tried it on, it was a little big. So, FYI, I'm going back to exchange it for a smaller size. I haven't said that in years.
I just think that it's funny, how many podcasts we've talked about merchandise and we haven't been able to shop for so long. We haven't been down there, and you're finally there. There's 50th merch, regardless of whether I'm envisioning the shelves being almost empty, which I doubt they are. That you are having a hard time spending some money. Seriously,
I swear to God. So I bought some tea. Becky sent me text messages saying, "Can you pick me up some tea?" I bought some pins, so I did buy some of the 50th pins.
I don't think you told me that.
I did tell you that because I told you our friend actually checked them all. I would have just bought them, but he checked them to make sure they weren't all.
He was doing,
he was doing the Carrie
quality check.
The quality check. I didn't know that was a thing, but he did the quality check. So yeah,
a lot of pins. How many did you buy?
I bought 5 pins.
What? Oh, I don't think you said you bought some pins and that, but
yeah, but they're duplicates. I got one for you. I got one for Becky.
What?
I got one for me. Yeah. Oh, and I got a magic band for another friend of ours. So I was in Epcot. It was 1,000 degrees. I went to the Canadian Pavilion because I never go to the Canadian Pavilion, and our friend gives me grief about it and makes me feel guilty. So I went to the Canadian Pavilion, spent 10 minutes in there, left, got all the way to France when I got a message saying, could you check if they have this magic band in the Canadian Pavilion for me? I'm like, ah! So I walked all the way back and got that. But so it's not even for me.
Like, I guess the thing that I'm a little upset about is that, like, you're there and then, like, you should, like, you didn't even send me a picture of your shirt. Like, even whether you're returning it, you're going to return it and get a smaller size in the same one. Like, you could send me a picture of your shirt that you bought or the pins.
You know what? You're just you're just being very overly sensitive because of my Figaro picture. This is all stemming from the Figaro picture.
Yeah.
That I forgot to give you the heads up that I got a magic shot that included Figaro, and you had to see it on Instagram.
I had to see it the first time on social media.
And you were so upset.
But, like, really, like, you know, you're like, oh, Carrie, wish you were here, whatever. Like, throw me a bone then. Send me some more pictures. You could have sent me the Figaro picture in advance to say, Carrie, oh my goodness, you love this. You'll never believe this. And I'm sure there's all kinds of pictures you could have posted, and you picked the Figaro one.
I know, I wasn't even thinking.
Oh, you weren't even thinking. No. Well, this one will hit home with Carrie. You didn't come on my Disney trip. I'll show you. I'm going to show all of my closest friends on Facebook.
Oh my gosh.
Instagram. This picture. Yeah, but anyways, I would appreciate it if you would just send a few more pictures of the things you're buying. The few things you bought. I saw your mug.
You saw my mug?
Because you're drinking tea out of it. That's the only reason I saw it.
Yeah.
If I was there, I'd be sending you pictures of all my stuff that I bought, and you'd be like, Carrie, enough's enough. Like, stop it with the pictures.
All right. You got it. I will send you pictures.
Okay, good. Thank you.
Are we good now?
Yep. I just had to get it out there. I had to air a little bit of our dirty laundry. Speaking of laundry, you did do laundry though, right?
I did do laundry in Coronado Springs. I got to tell you, it's pretty fast. The machines are fast. Like, I took my work computer to the laundry room and I just worked there while my laundry was going on. Yeah, it was pretty good. It was like literally maybe 30 minutes for the wash and then 30 minutes for the dryer. And I just did.
And you didn't have to hang anything out on the balcony or anything. It was all dry.
It was all dry.
Maybe because no one ever really does the laundry there.
Exactly. Like, I did 3 washers, 3 dryers. I was done.
How much did you? Were they miniature washers and dryers?
It's 1,000 degrees here. I'm wearing like 2 or 3 outfits a day.
So you've washed everything you packed so far.
Pretty much. And I'm going to have to do it again soon.
Well,
because I thought I would have bought more T-shirts by now. Yeah. All right, Carrie.
Goodness. Yep. Let's wrap it up.
Everybody's like, they're listening. They're like, oh my God, are these girls ever going to stop talking? Okay. Pixie dust of the week, Carrie. What was yours?
Well, my pixie dust is that I have been going back to work to get everybody ready to go back to work. That's my job. So I've been in the office, like, it's an excuse to go in like every single day. So I've been going in every single day. And I have a couple of our managers at work that have also been coming in almost every single day. And we've been having lunch together. So that's very nice. We go outside. I've ordered Skip the Dishes so much in the last couple of weeks. Like, I think I'm like moved up a tier in the Skip the Dishes points tier.
They're going to give you rewards.
I think I'm earning more, like 10 times more rewards than I did when I first started. But it's really nice. Like, we check in with each other. We've been figuring out what we're doing for lunch. And like, if we're all there, we sit and have our lunch outside. And it's really nice to connect with them and to spend that time with them every day. It kind of makes it feel like how it was before, having your friends at work with you. So that's my pixie dust.
That's so awesome, Carrie.
Yes. What's your pixie dust?
I'm happy for you. My pixie dust is that I finally confirmed today that I'm going on a Disney cruise at the end of the month.
Oh.
Yes. So today we finally got all the paperwork and stuff. So
it's official.
It's official. We were invited by Disney through Pure Magic Vacations. I'm going. So there's a couple of agents or 3 agents on a cruise. First, they were going on the Disney Dream, and then I was invited as well as one of the other agents. We're going to be rooming together. She's a hoot. She's been on the podcast before, Anna. And
it's going to be so much fun.
Yeah, so her and I are doing a 4-day cruise. We are going to figure out all of the safety stuff, all of, what it requires to get on the cruise and how they're handling all of that on board. Today, we just got our confirmation numbers and we did our safe passage stuff.
Already? You got it all done?
We got it all done. We've all been cleared.
Nice.
all of our, submitted all of our COVID stuff and vaccination stuff. And so we're going to have full reviews, and we're going to talk about that at some point. We'll go through what the whole cruise process was for everyone to understand as well. So very exciting. Yeah, I'm looking forward to it.
What a way to wrap up a trip.
Right? What better way? So yeah. So that's my pixie dust. And next week we'll be recording from Saratoga Springs. That's woohoo! That's like almost at the last leg of the trip. It's crazy.
Yeah, it doesn't seem to be going by. Is it going by really quick for you?
Yeah.
Oh, it seems like you've been gone forever.
Oh, you miss me, don't you?
Well, if you would send me some pictures once in a while, then I wouldn't. I feel like maybe I was there with you. But
all right, more pictures coming for sure. All right, we'll chat with you all next week.
See you soon.
Thanks for listening to the Pixie Dust Fan Podcast. We hope you enjoyed the episode.
Make sure you're following us on your favorite podcast player so you'll get a new episode every week. And find us on social media too. We'd love to hear from you.
Till next time, remember, you are never too old to be young. Chase your dreams and design your own happily ever after.